Good evening. First, let me introduce myself. My name is Crystal, otherwise known as the Art Flamingo. Long story about that name. Maybe I'll tell you someday why I do that or why I call myself that. Anyway, my YouTube channel is the Art Flamingo and my Etsy store is the Art Flamingo. So that's why I'm using that name with you tonight. But my name is Crystal. And tonight I'm going to show you this wonderful little booklet I made. I made this from 6 envelopes, and I'm going to show you this finished book, and then I'm going just a quick flip through, and then I'm going to show you how to make the envelope book. And then in several more videos, I'm going to show you how to decorate it, as I have done this one. Now this one is decorated with flamingos, and this is from my Flamingo digital download you'll find on my Etsy shop at the Art Flamingo. And I've started with this cute little tassel. We'll make one of those when we're doing this book. And I put some little letters I got at the Dollar Tree. I love the little letter beads, and I get them along with a lot of things at the Dollar Tree. But this one says Flamingo on it. So this is done on a clip that can be removed from the book, put wherever you want it in the book. And it's just one of the many ways you can make tassels. This one is a removable one. Now, if you look inside this book, you can see the envelopes. There's the inside of the envelope, which makes a natural pocket. And in it, I've got a journaling card, and I put my digital download that I printed out onto large index cards, the 3x5 or 4x6 size, I think. And I do that on purpose because if you use these index cards, you have nice lines to write on. Now, this card is not coffee dyed, and that is because when you get these wet, you lose all the lines. So if I were going to darken this, I would use other methods, and we may look at some of those in one of my sessions. Now, I'm going to go through this book. Everything you see in here, except, of course, the lace and fabrics, and there are a few stickers from the Dollar Tree, little blingies from the Dollar Tree. But almost everything else you see in here printed off of my page, off of my digital download. It's about 13 pages long. Oh, excuse me, 18 pages long. And you can download it for $3.50. But anyway, this all came from there. Sorry, little crass advertising there. But, you know, we all got to do what we got to do. There's some tags. Again, with journaling spaces on the back. And I used one of the little tags to make the pocket for the other ones. These are all from the kit, and they're all done on index cards so that they can all be journaled on. We'll be making some of these tags as we make this book. Also, we'll make these cute little file folders. They have a little tuck in them. That was from a belly band. And again, I'd used another tag for a pocket for this one. And then we'll do this one, which is a paper clip on the back. And it again has a little belly band pocket in it. And it just slips right on there. More tags. Lots of tags in this set. Another journaling card. And another journaling card. This one's got a tab on it. And I made the tab from the set, but I don't remember if that set has actually a tab in it that you could cut out, or if I just took a piece and cut it out myself. But I'll show you how I do that either way. Now this is playing cards, and we'll do that. There's 2 cards stitched together with a pocket in between them. Another little card, little sticker on the back of it. And then this one also has a second pocket behind it, where you could put another card. And then it's on top of, I did glue the top part of this down, but it's on top of an envelope that has a lace inset, and we'll talk about doing that. And this has another journaling tag, some more bling. Now this page has a library card with pocket, and that comes in the set, but we'll show you how to make those with or without a set. This has an envelope, and in the envelope are another couple journaling cards. This could be used for photographs or something like that too. And then there's another couple cards in here. Give you plenty of journaling spots in here. Another 2 large tags. I'm going to talk about how I make these little hole protectors too. 2 tags. This one has coffee dyed paper on the back with stencils on it, and we'll talk about how to do those. And this is one of the quarter page sheets that I use to glue down and make a pocket out of. Now on this page there's a couple more tags. And these are flips, and we're going to make these. There are 4 flips in this one. And each one of these flips is also a pocket that holds another journal card. And you can decorate the backs too. And there's the tiniest journal card. With all 4 journal cards there, I did another library card and envelope, and then this was just some odds and ends of things I had. This is a stamp that I made myself. This is a little handmade stamp. And the tickets and other things came out, just some ribbons, buttons, and just all glued down on a strip. And this is the back cover. And you can see this has a little bit of a spine to it that I covered with lace. And that's the entire book. Now what we're going to do tonight is I'm going to show you 2 things, and then we're going to make one of these books. To start with, I have just a regular white envelope. And if you want to coffee dye these envelopes, you can dunk them down in water, but I guarantee you all of this glue will come off. It'll all fall open, and you'll have to, when you're done, glue it back together. This is how I do my envelopes when I coffee dye them. I use a spray bottle, and I'm going to tell you what I did in this spray bottle. This is a small spray bottle. You can use any size you want. I fill it about half full of instant coffee. Now this coffee came from the Dollar Tree because it's nice and cheap, $1 for a jar. I filled this half full of the instant coffee, and then I finished it with warm water and just shook it. And I made a nice dark spray. Now what I do is I put it over paper towel, and then I just squirt it. However much you decide you want. If you want a lot, now so you can make it with standing water. This particular spray bottle tends to splatter, but I like that look, so that's why I use this bottle. Now I'll flip it over and do the other side. This way you can coffee dye, but you didn't immerse this, and the glue on this side will hold. Now what I do now is I just lay these aside to dry. After they've dried, generally I'll do this like first thing in the morning and then leave them to dry during the day. Then after they're dry later in the day, I will grab them up, stack them all up, and put them underneath a heavy weight to press them all back flat. And that's fine if that's what you want to do. You could also iron these. You could take these even damp like this and put a damp paper towel over them and just iron them. Or you can let them dry and then iron them to get a better, to get it nice and flat again. But I generally just put mine underneath the weight before I go to bed at night, and then the next day they're fine to use. Now to make our book today, I'll show you these are. Okay, now let's do our envelope booklet. We're going to do this with 6 envelopes. This is from a packet of 50 that I bought at Michael's. And what I generally do at Michael's is wait until they have a big sale on Papercraft, and then I go and stock up. Now we're going to make a booklet that's going to look like this one. It will be 6 pages long. And we'll start with taking our 6 envelopes. Now I'm doing 6. You could do more, you could do less. I just chose 6 for this one because it sounded like a good number, honestly. I'm going to fold these back. I'm going to fold back all the flaps. Now you could do this with any envelope you want. I will tell you that I go to a lot of thrift stores and sometimes even yard sales, and you'll find old Christmas cards or greeting cards. And I buy these things when I can for $1 or for 50 cents, and I save them up until I need them. I just file them away, but then you can have, say you wanted to use gold envelopes or red envelopes, maybe for a Christmas journal or something like that. You could do that easily. Now we've got all 6 of these. We're going to start. I'm going to use, let me get a piece of scrap paper real quick. Okay, now this is paper that I laid down underneath while I was spraying sheets earlier, and I'm going to use it as a scrap paper. I may go back and use it in a journal at some point too. The first card you start, you're going to fold the flap under and lay it down with the card to your left and the opening to your right. Then you're going to take your next card, and I'm going to start right up here at the edge of my paper because you get glue on your paper. You don't want to get it on the back of your flaps. So I start at the edge and kind of move down each time. I'm using the Craft Bond, Elmer's Craft Bond. It has, it is acid-free and photo-safe. I like to use it for some of my projects, particularly where I don't want a lot of liquid that could get down inside these cards and glue my pockets closed. Now I just slide the flap right into the last envelope, and I bring it right up till the flap is right even with the top of the first envelope. I then rub this down, flip it over. I might use my bone folder up inside there to make sure it's good and flat. Let's flip it over. Again, this flap is still back there. We're going to use it later. I'll lay my scrap paper back, take my next one, move down just a little bit. I left a big glob of glue, which I don't like to do. I'm just going to kind of spread that out some. I don't want a glob inside my book, but at the same point, I don't like to leave a big glob on my sheet either. That's like wasting. I don't like to do that. Okay, so the next one is going to open our flap from the previous card and slide it right in there. Now see, we've got our first page here. Now we've got our second page. Use my bone folder to reach up in there and just make sure it's glued down. Fold it over here. I'm creating a nice spine here. It's all even. Still got that flap. We're just leaving it there for now. We're going to set this aside. We're up to 3 envelopes. Again, you can stop anywhere you want. If you don't want to make 6 pages, that's fine too. Now, we're doing the inside of each envelope, the inside of the flap for each envelope. These envelopes have been sitting around for a while, so they got a little bit sticky inside. but not real bad. I've just opened them back up. If you're careful not to get glue on the back side of this flap, only on the inside. And see, we're up to 4 pages. Oh, cooperate. I talk to things like they really hear me and are going to do what I say. Do you do that? Tell you a little bit about myself as I'm finishing this up right here. I was a graphic artist for many years. I worked for printing companies. I worked for department stores doing advertising. And I worked a lot in the textile industry doing imprinted textiles. Then I decided my lungs were not very good and they were getting worse being around all the chemicals in the textile plants. So I left that and I went back and got a teaching degree, and I taught for 14 years. See, I got some glue on the back of that one, and I'm going to come over here and get that off the back of that. I taught for 14 years in the public schools before I finally retired, and I taught middle school and high school art. I also did a year of kindergarten and taught a year of 5th grade. I'll tell you, those elementary school teachers are the hardest working teachers in the school. They don't ever get to leave their kids alone for a minute. But I retired, and now I teach art and weaving, macrame, knit, crochet, all kinds of things, drawing and painting, and I also paint professionally. So I still keep myself involved. Now we're at the last page. We've got all of our pages. We've got to do something with this flap. And what I do with it is I fold it down over the other ones. And you see it's a little bit of thickness there. So I'm going to kind of take my finger and pinch it along there, along the top, to make a nice spine. Now I've got a nice spine on my book. Now I've got to glue this down. I can glue it and tuck it in here, and this is going to be a personal preference. I can tuck it in like I've done the other pages and have a pocket on the back page. I kind of prefer not having a pocket like that on the back page. You can if you want to, it's your preference, but I'm going to glue this over. So let me put my glue here. I'm going to try to get glue up to the very edge so it'll glue over this spine. And I'm going to get all the center, and I'm going to try to get a lot of glue right up along this edge so that when I flip this over, I'm going to flip it over the top of that one and cover up that spine completely, or cover up that pocket completely. I don't particularly like having big pockets on the covers of my journals because things tend to just fall out of them if you're carrying the journal like in your purse or whatever. And there we have our finished book. Each page has a natural pocket on it. And the back cover. So that is ready to be decorated, and that's what we're going to do in the next class. Is we're going to decorate one of these, and I'm going to use one of my digital downloads, I think the Peacock one, but we're going to do one of my digital downloads so you can learn how to use those digital downloads and the different things you can do with them. You don't always have to do what the designer says. You can do what you please. So I will join you in my next session to start decorating this. Y'all have a good afternoon. Bye now.